Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and we are back to this sort of ogre mage type character that I'm painting. You can see I've already gotten a base coat on some of these horns. And that is what we're going to continue working on today. And I've kind of gotten into a habit when I'm painting anything that is going to pretty much be bones, or skeleton, or whatever. I really like using a really dark brown, and then which most of the time I'm using brown liner like I am today, but I think I have used like walnut brown on occasion because that is also a very nice dark brown. And then I take an off-white color and mix up some different midtones and highlights basically to go over this dark brown. Just need like a second coat here though over what I did this morning. I do still have some things that I'm wanting to get finished for my one shots that I've got next month, but I had finished one up over the weekend at the Shield Guardian and didn't have something ready to go before this morning. So I just got this out and started doing a little base coating. And then today, for the off-white color I chose Creamy Ivory. It's a new-ish to me off-white. I only got it just, well, last summer, I think. And I think it'll work well with the other colors. Got a little bit of yellow, so it's complementary to the purple at least. And then it's a bit more of a saturated off-white, so to speak. At least compared to some of the others that I have, so. It won't be muted out quite so much when I do the other layers. And really it's just going to still look actually probably fairly neutral anyway, even with the yellow that's in it. The brown liner is going to dull it out quite a bit. So usually this provides a nice neutral bone color. I mean, bones are usually tend to be a bit more of a neutral. So I think all that will really happen with having that yellow in the creamy ivory is that it's gonna help kind of intensify the purple a little bit. Since it's the complementary color, they tend to intensify each other. I'm also using this to kind of pretty much paint up any white that maybe I missed up in these little nooks and crannies that you really, no one's really going to be able to see it. Even if like this person who sculpted or designed this had put some details in there, you're not going to be able to see them. I mean, if you were wanting to paint those kinds of details, then you would have wanted to do that when it was not fully assembled. This is definitely one of those minis that at first glance before I put any paint on it, it looked like there was like tons and tons of different details. And there is a lot going on, that's for sure. But there actually isn't a lot of like different stuff necessarily. So we got lots and lots of bone, like horns, etc., claws, whatever you want to label these. Got lots and lots of leather, robes. We got rope holding various things together, or bandages. And then we got this staff as well. And then, you know, this actual skin. And whatnot. And that's pretty much it. Like down here, it's just a lot of like different bones and stuff hanging off of a rope, and then there's like a really big skeleton head, skull. There's a big skull. And these definitely look like they were claws or horns or something. I suppose if you wanted to, you could paint what I'm painting right here as like stone or metal of some sort. I think with the way the rest of the mini is sculpted, though, that it totally makes sense that it's more of these horns. So that is what I'm sticking with. Trying to think. I think we'll leave that. We'll do that as wood. And just those two things as the bones. You could probably do it either way, really. All right, I have at least some of them that have two layers of that base coat of, again, that was brown liner. So we're gonna move on and at least get some of the going on some of these. So I'm not just doing base coat all session. And I won't do things entirely filled in. I will kind of do a little, leave some streaks here and there to show. It's like if you look at your nail, it might be a little hard to see. If you look closely at your own nail, you can see kind of lines and stuff. Or even just this white you can see is coming. A little striated. It's not completely smooth transition. Okay. Maybe these were teeth from a very big monster or something. I mean, if we're going with the idea that this is like an ogre mage, then all of these things would have to be really, really big compared to a human-sized person. finally sat down and pulled out the big box of floor tiles. It's pretty much just floor tiles, as well as some buildings my husband had started making but never really fully finished to make Troll Skull Alley. I'm not really the type of that I would see myself using buildings unless it's like gonna be part of a fight. I'd rather just get like print out some pictures and or something and just be like, here's a map, like a general city map, or just like a visual, like here's what it kind of would look like. As you enter the city, this is kind of what you see, kind of thing. But I would like to use like just some floor tiles in general. I like scattered terrain and stuff like that. And I know we had some that we had like bought, like a couple different brands, WizKids being one, which I was actually rather surprised at the quality. Still am. It just, they're so hit and miss with their quality. But yeah, we have like, I'd gotten like the starter set of floor tiles back when those were newish. They're much more affordable than the Dwarven Knight. Although now I have discovered the last, well, it would have been like 2 or 3 years ago that I actually discovered them for myself, was Dungeons and Lasers, which is actually what this mini is from, that company. We have plenty of also foam floor tiles that my husband had cut a bunch. He just never painted them. So to sit down and kind of do a bunch of counting, basically, for the maps that I needed. work on grading for my one shots. I sat down and at least like, so I have printouts. Just, you know, basically so some references to go off of what the maps will look like. And notes and such for each room. So I mean that is all done. I just need to determine if like I'm using actual floor tiles or if I'll just draw stuff out on a map, like a battle map. I did sit down this weekend and count out how many squares, like just the max amount of widths and lengths of things. I didn't go into detail of like, oh, this room's this many squares and this room's blah blah blah. I don't really want to do that when I'm not going to actually create the dungeon yet. I just need to know like the max amount of space I'm going to need to help me know if I can even fit it on a battle map, I guess. I think making it out of floor tiles would probably make it easiest if it doesn't fit on the battle map. I think that might only really be my 10th level 10 adventure. That would be easy enough to just like have it in kind of parts. I was very excited to see that like all the DMs we had contacted to get info into us about their sessions that they will be doing. Got their info in, or at least like there's one that just at least responded saying, "Oh yeah, I can't do it this time." Which is kind of a bummer since they've had a few months, but at least we know. It's just in time to be able to get their stuff up onto our little like sign up sheet. And I convinced my husband. I didn't really have to try all that hard. I just kind of mentioned that for this particular event, we've only got like 2 games. There's only 2 of us that could do the evening time. Morning and afternoon games are all filled up for the rooms that we had reserved in our church, but just not the evening. And so then he was like, you know what, I'll do one. He's gonna technically use a one shot. He's got 1 or 2 ideas that he's done before. It's just he lost the notebook that had all the notes in it. So I mean, he has to kind of do some things from scratch. But I mean, not completely from scratch because he did run it before, so there would at least be something from him to still pull from. So yeah, I don't know, 3 instead of 2, even though it's only 1 more game for that evening time. Having 3 just sounds a lot better than just 2. Maybe that's just me. I've had to keep myself from not thinking too much or putting too much work into the campaign that'll be starting in April, because I need to try and keep focused on the upcoming one shots. Keep making sure that anything I need to get finished for my one shots or just for logistics of the event itself don't end up getting forgotten about because I get too excited about something else. It does help that the people who are going to be players having created their characters. So even though I'm really excited to see what they are thinking they would play, it's probably good that those aren't already done. Because I am going to kind of start off, use probably, I've got an idea. I've already got an idea of like how to start the campaign. But I do want to incorporate their backstories, or, you know, some details of the beginnings might need to be tweaked just depending on on their backstories. But like I said, that's not something I really need to be thinking about right now. It's not till April. And I have, assuming there are still people interested in learning how to run one shots, well, prep and run one shots, then I will have slides also to be prepping that I probably should work on first before doing too much more with the campaign. Which we use like we do giveaways, and we use a survey to like basically enter in to win the giveaways. So that will for sure be on the survey of like, are you interested in any of these dates? Work or whatever. Of course, if there's like zero response this time around. Even though last fall there were people saying they were interested. Maybe by now they've already found resources to help them. I don't know. It's kind of why we're going to ask again now that we have someone, which is me, who has put in the time to figure out how and what exactly to teach in a workshop on how to build a, or not, it's not really how to build, how to prep and run a one shot. I mean, I guess there are some things about building, creating a one shot. So I guess it's not entirely inaccurate to say that it's how to build and run a one shot. I was a little bummed to see that Guy Scalanders will no longer be doing more how to GM videos. I guess it makes sense. He has like really covered a lot of aspects of how to GM as well as even how to be a good player, etc. And apparently he's talked with YouTube, or YouTube spoke with him, and that they're gonna not be pushing his channel anymore because viewership's been going down. But his stuff will still be available, so I'm glad for that. He is one that I often go to and have been going to, and I watched a lot of his videos too, just in researching, putting together stuff for the workshop that I was talking about. And like I was planning on pointing people to his channel too. As a place for more resources, because I'm not going to cover really world building at all. I mean, I'm still fairly new to that. I've done world building for like writing short stories and stuff. It's actually something I didn't think I was very good at, and then sitting down and actually writing down notes and stuff for the players for my new campaign starting up in April. I actually have like quite a bit figured out already. From writing, working off and on over the years on my novel. Definitely more off than on. Trying to get into more of a regular time of writing when I'm not working on D&D stuff. It was nice I was able to sit down and do some writing this last week, actually, because I was caught up enough on my one-shots that there's really not any writing that needs to be done or notes or anything. It's just a matter of at least at this stage. It's still a month out, so there are some things that I will wait to do till it's closer so that things are fresh in my memory. But other than that, it's kind of more of just painting minis that I want to have painted, which is not writing, or figuring out the maps. Specifically, if I'm gonna either drawing them or kind of getting some floor tiles semi put together in a way that I can kind of easily break them apart, so to speak, so that I can still store them in the meantime. Actually started thinking about some ideas of what I would want to do for our one-shots that I would want to do for our like fall tabletop weekend. which one of them will probably just be taking what I do for one of the one of my campaign sessions. We'll probably just take that and make it a one shot. So that'd be one thing that would be already mostly done once I actually do it. But before the fall, it would be done. And I also would have minis too already painted, so it'd be one thing that I could kind of have off my plate and just focus on the other 3. I am considering using a pre-made one shot as well as for one of the other 3. At least to some degree. And then I have the Dracula's Castle idea, which I know I haven't talked about that in a while. If you were around or have watched any of the VODs from like a few months ago, it might have been when I was started thinking about it. What did I say? A few months ago. Yeah, I like some of the story and stuff of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, a few months ago, or might even be more than that by now. It was shortly after I got my Bone 6. So when I was looking at the Sullenhall expansion stuff. Just immediately thought like, oh, it'd be so cool to do something kind of based on Dracula, a Dracula story. And I know Strahd kind of already that. I would do things a little differently though. Like I've actually been, when I was actually making some notes and putting some things together. I mean, one, I was basing it on minis that I got in that expansion, the whole Sullenhall expansion. And then I also was actually reading / skimming Bram Stoker's Dracula, because it's so old that you can read it for free. And it's really easy read. Even though it is old, it's not like really all that. I don't think it's all that difficult. It's not like Charles Dickens where he's using a ton of really old English. I don't know if it's actually as old as Charles Dickens' books would have been. I don't remember the dates, time frames of either. So that might not be very good comparisons. But anyway, yeah. I definitely will need to work on actually finishing up notes for that, building encounters and whatnot. That would be something I would need to also work on a number of minis to paint up. Well, there will be at least one mini already done. Probably by the time that I get back to writing up those notes, because I've been doing paint-along videos on my YouTube, and that many that I've been doing is one that I plan on using in that one shot whenever I do it. Be the character Lucy Winestra, I think is the name of the character. I'll probably try to pick something that's not for that one shot, or really any like upcoming one shots for this fall. Once I finish that, I'll pick some other mini. I think I will continue doing the paint-alongs. They seem to be something that people like. I also don't want to end up picking like a mini that I would be wanting to try to sell, because since the videos themselves are going to be shorter than like the Twitch streams or whatever, that they're just always going to take kind of quite a while to finish. in most cases. I got lots of minis to pick from though that if I were to get painted up, I could probably find something to use them in, kind of a thing. So. I got multiple minis that I'm like not necessarily, I don't have plans for them necessarily, or I have ideas of how to use them, just not yet, if that makes any sense. Like, some of them are where I have like other campaign ideas. I am definitely not going to be doing more than like running more than one campaign at a time, especially if I'm also going to be continue to do one shots. Like, especially with it, we're now doing like twice a year, or at least currently we're gonna try and do it. Twice a year. And I like to be able to do extra stuff for my players. Like making special spell cards for my pre-generated characters that I've made, or making stat cards for myself even, just to make running the monsters easier. Getting an interesting map made, or finding one. I understand not to over prep. So I get notes written down just enough so that I understand what happens where, or what needs to kind of happen eventually at an undetermined location or whatever. And notes about like the monsters and stuff, so I can, if I feel like there's any special things that I need to that I feel like I might forget. I'd write some of those notes down or something. And if there's things that come to mind that, like, oh, I could totally see a character trying to, a person thinking about this idea. I'll think up some, write down some quick notes or something for that, but I don't go out of my way to try and figure out every possible scenario or anything, because that's just not possible. Hello, is it Layla? I'm actually just finishing up now. But thanks for joining and saying hi. So yeah, today we got pretty much all of the just like bones stuff on this mini done. Yeah, and I guess I never did show you. Here are the colors, the mixes that I did and used, and it's just these two colors in different amounts. Yeah, that does sometimes happen a lot. But hopefully you can catch me not at the end next time or something. I'll be back on Thursday, 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, and on Thursday, I'll be working on this mini. I'll probably have some paint on it by then, but I definitely will be still working on this guy. Thanks. Yeah, he's coming along. So I kind of rotate. I do a different mini Monday and then a different one on Thursday. So currently this is the Monday mini. He's from Dungeons and Lasers. I'm painting him like a kind of an ogre mage type, because that's kind of what inspired me. And this will actually, I'll be using in a one-shot next month. Just have it prepared as a wild shape for a pre-generated character that I've got made up. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe going along the lines of like Aladdin, like the animated cartoon where Jafar turns into a big snake. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll hopefully see you Thursday. Hope you have a good next couple of days. And yeah, I will see you then. Bye.